I wish I never introduced you with that.
Madeline, we're gonna need to let him talk.
You want a problem with me, continue to defend so him.
Damn.
Luke, are you and Madeline still together?
The moment that changed everything wasn't loud, it was quiet. Sitting under those harsh tell-all lights, Luke leaned forward, voice shaking, and said, "We were never actually married." And just like that, the entire room froze. You could literally feel the energy shift, like everyone suddenly realized they'd been watching a love story that might have been built on a lie from the very beginning. Before we dive into this insane unraveling, hit that subscribe button for more jaw-dropping reality TV breakdowns, because this one? It only gets crazier from here, so let's rewind, because nothing about Luke and Molen's relationship was ever simple. From the outside, it looked like your typical 90-day fiancé whirlwind romance, fast love, big promises, emotional vulnerability. But underneath? There were cracks, and not the kind you fix with time. We're talking deep, structural damage. The kind that slowly builds until everything collapses in front of millions of viewers.
At first, Molen told everyone they were married. Not planning to get married. Not engaged, married. She said it confidently, repeatedly, like it was an undeniable fact. And Luke, he went along with it. Maybe he believed it, maybe he wanted to believe it. Or maybe, like so many people in relationships, we ignore red flags because the truth is just too painful to face. But then came the first inconsistency. Luke started hinting that paperwork had never actually been filed. At first, it sounded like confusion. You know how it goes. Different countries, complicated immigration processes, legal jargon nobody fully understands. Easy to brush off, right? That's what fans thought too. Reddit threads were full of people saying, it's probably just a misunderstanding. Except, it wasn't, because then the story started changing. And not in small ways. Big ways. Messy ways. The kind of changes that make you stop and think, wait, what else isn't real? Molen's version of events began to shift depending on who she was talking to. One minute, the wedding was legitimate. The next, it was more of a ceremony. Then suddenly, there were excuses about paperwork delays, missing documents, technicalities. And Luke, he looked more and more confused every time he tried to explain it. And this is where things start to hit a little too close to home for a lot of people watching. Because who hasn't been in a situation where you start questioning your own reality? Where someone you trust keeps changing the story just enough to make you doubt yourself? That, maybe I'm overthinking it, feeling. Yeah, that was Luke, but on national television. Then came the ring, the symbol of everything they were supposed to be. Love, commitment, a future together. And suddenly, it was gone. At first, Molen said she lost it. Simple, believable, unfortunate. People lose rings all the time, right? But then whispers started. Fans on Instagram started digging. People noticed inconsistencies again. The timeline didn't add up. The explanations didn't match. And then the rumor dropped. Pawn shop. Just one word, but it hit like a bomb. Now, to be fair, I can't independently verify that claim with absolute certainty. It came from online speculation and fan discussions, not confirmed evidence. But the fact that so many viewers believed it, that says a lot about how shaky the entire situation had become. Trust was already gone, so when people heard pawn shop, it didn't sound crazy, it sounded possible. And that's when the narrative shifted from confusing relationship to something much darker. Because it wasn't just about love anymore. It was about money. Luke revealed that he had invested a massive amount, around $150,000, into what he believed was a shared future. A business, a plan, something they were building together. But here's the twist. The business involved Molen's ex-friend. Let that sink in. Not just a random business partner. Not a neutral third party. An ex-friend. Someone with history. Someone with potential unresolved drama. And somehow, Luke's money ended up tied to that situation. And guess what happened? It failed. Of course it did. The money was gone. The business collapsed. And Luke was left trying to piece together what actually happened. Was it bad luck, poor planning, or something more intentional? Fans had opinions. Oh, they had a lot of opinions. On Reddit, one comment blew up. This isn't a relationship, it's a strategy. Another user wrote, he didn't lose money. He was drained. Harsh, maybe. But when you look at everything, the shifting stories, the missing ring, the questionable business deal, it's hard not to see why people started connecting those dots. And here's where it gets even more heartbreaking. Luke stayed, even after the doubts, even after the contradictions, even after losing everything, money, clarity, stability, he was still defending the relationship. Still trying to make it make sense. Still holding on to the idea that maybe, just maybe, it was real. And that's the part that hits the hardest. Because it's not just about Luke. It's about anyone who's ever stayed too long in something that was quietly falling apart. Anyone who kept believing because letting go felt worse than the truth. That, me too, moment. Yeah, this is it. But just when you think it can't get any worse, the biggest twist drops. The K-1 visa. For those who don't know, the K-1 visa is specifically for fiancés. Not spouses. Fiancés. It's designed for couples who plan to get married in the US after approval. So if Luke and Molen were already legally married like she claimed, why would a K-1 visa even be part of the story? It doesn't make sense. And that's exactly the problem. Because if the visa application was based on them being unmarried, then one of two things has to be true. Either they were never legally married at all, or someone wasn't telling the truth during the process. And I need to be very clear here, I cannot confirm the legal details without official documentation. But based on the information presented in the show and the conflicting statements, there are serious inconsistencies that raise major questions. Questions that change everything. Because if there was no legal marriage, then what was all of this? The ceremony, the ring, the shared finances, the emotional commitment, was it all real, or was it all part of something else? And suddenly, that quiet moment at the tell-all hits differently. We were never actually married. Not just a statement, a revelation, a collapse of everything that came before it. And you could see it in Luke's face, not just anger, not just confusion, but something deeper. The kind of realization that doesn't happen all at once. It creeps in, slowly, painfully, until you're forced to confront a truth you were never ready for. And Molen, her reactions only added more fuel to the fire. Defensive at times, emotional at others, but never fully clear, never fully consistent. And in a situation like this, clarity is everything. Without it, doubt takes over. And once doubt is in control, it's almost impossible to rebuild trust. So now we're left with the aftermath. Luke is in the US, financially drained, emotionally exhausted, and stuck in a situation that doesn't even have a clear legal foundation. The relationship that once looked like a dream has turned into a maze of unanswered questions. And fans, they're divided. Some believe Molen genuinely cared but got caught up in bad decisions. Others think it was calculated from the start. A plan, a strategy, a way to secure stability at someone else's expense. And honestly, based on the available information, I can't say with certainty which version is true. But I can say this, the inconsistencies are real. The financial loss is real. The emotional damage is real. And whatever the truth is, it's messy. So now I want to hear from you. Do you think Molen ever truly loved Luke, or was this all part of a bigger plan from the very beginning? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this story is far from over. And if you want more deep dives into the wildest, most unbelievable reality TV moments, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because trust me, you do not want to miss what comes next.
What do you think? Comment below. Thanks for watching and I will see you in the next one.